What is up, guys? How's everyone doing? Thank y'all for joining me today. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the recap for what's gone on so far this offseason, as well as some Yankee stuff that their next moves that they could make or they should make, and what has gone on so far. So just a recap of what has gone on. We've had a couple of big pieces of news. First big piece of news that happened was, I want to say last week or something like that, or a couple of days ago. Jose Abreu signed a 3-year, $58 million deal with the Houston Astros. And that was a huge move for Houston. They just upgraded themselves at first base with the bat. In the event that they don't re-sign Gurriel, they will have a first baseman in place. After that, we had a couple of minor stuff as far as I remember. But then we had, the other big thing was the Rays made a typical Rays move, which was to sign Zach Eflin to a 3-year deal. So that is the other signing that was that made some headlines. And then we had a trade between the Mariners and Brewers, which sent Colton Wong to Seattle for Jesse Winker and Abraham Toro, as well as the Red Sox signing former Dodger reliever Chris Martin to a 2-year deal. Now, fast forward to last night. The Rangers, 14 hours ago, signed Jacob deGrom to a 5-year contract. So that is $185 million guaranteed, with a option, which is a conditional option for 2028, which would bring the value to a total of $222 million, with a full no trade clause added to this. So that's a big deal. Then we also have Kyle Gibson, the former Phillies pitcher, signed with Baltimore 3 hours ago. And 2 hours ago, Brian Reynolds of Pittsburgh has demanded or requested a trade off of the Pirates and go play somewhere else. So that is the updates for those. Now, if I'm the Yankees, looking at what's happened with Baltimore signing Kyle Gibson, and Houston signing Jose Abreu, and Texas signing Jacob deGrom, if I am Brian Cashman, I am getting on the phone and I am calling up Pittsburgh and trying to make a deal for Brian Reynolds and see if I can get maybe David Bednar in that deal as well. Does not mean it's going to happen. Maybe just Reynolds, but I would gladly take Reynolds. I would not wait until Judge signs, because that could come back to bite the Yankees and cost them. I think if the Yankees can sign some guys now, in the event that Judge does walk, as well as getting Brian Reynolds in a trade, now that he's told Pittsburgh that he wants a trade, that's what I think needs to happen. He needs to Brian Cashman needs to get on the phone and make that call to Pittsburgh and be like, hey, what is it going to take to get Brian Reynolds to New York? That way you at least have some security in the event that Judge does in fact walk. Now, with that being said, I do have a feeling he will walk if he gets, let's say if he gets more than what the Yankees are offering. I believe winter meetings are tomorrow, Aiden. I can find that out for you. But at the winter meetings, I think there's going to be a lot that goes on. I think there's going to be a lot of moves being made. I even think there's going to be a couple trades that happen during the winter meetings. Let's see here. Winter meetings are tomorrow, I believe. I think you're right, Aiden, on that. But the Yankees need to find a way to answer back. They cannot sit around and wait until Judge signs. That's not going to work. We've seen them do that too many times before. We need to not do that this time. Now, the rumor is that Cashman is not as in on Judge as Hal is. Now, I know there's a lot of criticism with Brian Cashman and what he thinks and what they think. What people think should happen with Cashman, but he may be onto something. Because think about it. If we let Judge walk, which could very well happen, now you've got to fill that hole. Now you're not going to get, you're not going to get a Ronald Acuna Jr., but if you have a chance to get a guy like Brian Reynolds and then re-sign Andrew Benintendi, now you've got two outfielders in place, which would fill the void of Aaron Hicks and Aaron Judge. So that would be step one. Step two is we do need starting pitching. Now, the Yankees are supposedly in on Rodon and Justin Verlander. I do think the Yankees, if they don't re-sign Judge, will make a play at Yoshida. I don't think that is going to be any question. Now, the Japanese pitcher that's also is going to be posted, I can't think of his name, but that would be another guy to go out and get or try and pick up. But the top two targets would be, for me, Rodon and, thank you, Senga or Makita would be two other guys to look at, but I would prefer if we got a guy like Brian Reynolds, re-sign Benintendi, or get Yoshida. I think Yoshida would probably be a better fit if we couldn't get Brian Reynolds, but that would just be me. Cool. Senga, thank you. And so that to me is what's got to happen. Now, going into the winter meetings, the Yankees have to have the mindset of, hey, we are going out to the winter meetings to make deals and get things done. Because if we go into the season with what we had last year, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for Hal Steinbrenner. Do I think Judge signs tomorrow? Probably not. I don't think Judge will sign tomorrow. I think he might sign after the winter meetings. I think that'll probably happen then. I don't know if he'll sign before Christmas. Same goes with the top four free agents, shortstop free agents. I've heard a couple rumblings about the Yankees being in on Xander Bogaerts, which wouldn't be a bad thing. It would take him away from the Red Sox. It would give us a good gloved shortstop. Then you could try to dump Donaldson, which I'm hearing that a lot about, that they're trying to do that. They're trying to actively move Donaldson and Hicks, which means you could put IKF at third, where he did win a Gold Glove. And if you decide to go out and sign Bogaerts, you can put him at short until you get one of the younger kids up, like Volpe, and then move him over to second. I don't think, Aiden, that they're going to be gone tomorrow. I highly doubt that. I think that they will probably sign also after the winter meetings, but I don't know. I can't tell you. For the Yankees, this is the offseason where they have to do something. Hal cannot say that he's got the money for Judge and another piece and then not go out and spend. We need to stop playing the poverty game. We need to stop playing this game of telling fans one thing and then doing another thing. We need to get out of the hole, getting guys that are past their prime. That's not going to work. It hasn't worked. Analytics has taken over baseball, and that's part of it. So I think the Yankees need to move away from that, and I think they need to figure something out. I think Torres is probably going to get traded, but I don't know if I don't know if they're going to go for Andrew Chafin. I would try. I think that's asking too little from Detroit. I would go after Gregory Soto and Tanner Scruple if they could get him, or try Trickle Scruple. Both are reliable, and both are young and have team control. As far as the Mariners and what they did with the trade with Milwaukee, getting Colton Wong, I mean, yeah, it's great they get their second baseman, but I don't get why they would go for Colton Wong if they had interest in Gleyber Torres. Maybe it was something that the Yankees were asking for. I don't know. But if it were me and I were giving up Torres, I'd be asking, if I were Cashman, and I don't know if he's even under contract. I think right now he doesn't have a contract. There might have been a handshake agreement, but there's no written agreement, so we can't, go. But we'll have to go from there. But anyways, the Yankees need to do something. The Yankees' next moves have to be getting a starter, a reliever, and 2 outfielders. That's for starters. I don't know if I would go for Pablo Lopez. As much as I like him, I would rather have Trevor Rogers. I would try to get a package together to get Trevor Rogers off of Miami and in pinstripes. Trevor Rogers is a lefty. He's got, I think, 4 years of control left. Let me look at that. Give me 1 second. Trevor Rogers. So Trevor Rogers has 4 years of control left, team control left. So that's why I would pick him. I mean, I could see Derek Jeter going in the booth, but I don't know if that would be something he wants to do. But if he does, great. Excuse me. But getting back to the whole pitching situation, the Yankees need some bullpen help. They lost Scott Efros, as you know, to injury last year. So I think that would probably be the one guy I would be careful with. And then let's see, give me 1 second. I would say for starters, I would go for Scruple, or I would go for or Trevor Rogers from Miami. They didn't trade Miguel Castro. They actually lost him in free agency. So he went and signed with Arizona. And that's what he did. He didn't He didn't get traded. What's going on, Jason? I'll put the link in the chat for you, Jason. Give me 1 second. Here we go. So, yeah, no, he didn't. Steven Ridings got picked up off of waivers, I believe it was, by the Mets, and Miguel Castro got signed by the Diamondbacks. So those two are gone, and that's how that's gone. Like I said before, Yankees need bullpen help. They need starter help. They need everything. So the two priorities that the Yankees have is pitching and outfield, because we're not sure if Judge is going to want to come back, and if the Giants are crazy enough to give him a 10-year, $400 million deal, good luck to him. Let him take the money. I would not overpay for it for a 31-year-old, especially since he's going to be on the wrong side of 30. Not something I would do. Yeah, Steven Reynolds would have been good this year. You're right, Aiden. The issue, though, is I guess it was a Rule 5 or it was waivers. It was one of them, but he got claimed. So I don't know if it was waivers. I don't know if the Yankees can reclaim him. I doubt it. But yeah, so that's how I agree. Steven Reynolds would have been a good fit for the Yankee bullpen this year. But you know what? The Mets got a good pitcher, and so did Arizona. So they both made a couple, not the sexiest or the biggest moves, but they definitely did make some moves to help their pens out. They do have pitching prospects. I can get you that. Give me 1 second. Jason, I just sent you the link to your email, so you should have that. As for the pitching prospects, I have to look up who it is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but their top prospects, though, I know are Luis Hill or Will Warren, who's our number 8 prospect, Clayton Beater, who's our number 9 prospect, Luis Hill, who's our number 10, Yoandres Gomez, who's our 12, Drew Thorpe, who's 13, Randy Vasquez, who's 14, and Tristan Veerling, who is 15. Those are our 7. Those 7 are in the top 15 for our prospects. Yeah, Jonathan, it's something that we are never going to understand or know, unfortunately. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. The Yankees, I don't know why they're trying to put all their eggs in one basket. They shouldn't do that. Like I said earlier, Arizona, happy holidays. Guys, let me bring in Jason, who of 161 River Ave.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? How you doing, bud?
Good, man. How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. So I saw the thing about that you had put up today about the Orioles getting Kyle Gibson.
Yeah.
It's a good move for them. It's not the sexiest move, but it's a good move because it's veteran leadership, and that's what they need on that team.
And a guy that can throw innings, too. He threw like 175 innings. So, and they're not done with pitching. They're looking for one more pitcher.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of guys out there, too. Russ Stripling, you got Taijuan Walker, you got a whole bunch.
I could see Taijuan Walker fitting in that rotation nicely.
Chris Bassett too.
Yeah, Chris Bassett's another one.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, Brian Reynolds. That's an interesting one. Now that he's requested a trade,
I've been talking about him for a year.
Yep, and I've been right with you on that one. I've been saying that that would be a good piece, and I had mentioned something earlier in the stream, which I don't know if you were here for, but the Yankees, if they wanted to, they could call up Pittsburgh, see what they could get for Reynolds, then either go out and get Yoshida or Benintendi. And if you pair them, one of those two with Reynolds, you now have filled your outfield void of Judge and Aaron Hicks. That takes one thing out of the equation that you have to worry about now.
Yeah, I'll this is probably going to upset a lot of people, but I would take 27-year-old Brian Reynolds over 31-year-old Aaron Judge.
Absolutely.
If Judge was 27, I would choose Judge, but he's not. He's 31. So, and I would not hesitate for 1 second to add Jason Dominguez to a trade.
No, absolutely not.
And there's a good chance they might not have to add Oswald Peraza either, unless they're going to play him at second, because they have O'Neal Cruz at second, and they have Cabrian Hayes at third. I mean, O'Neal Cruz at short, and Cabrian Hayes at third. So there's a chance they could get him without including Peraza, but it's still going to cost a lot.
Oh, no, absolutely. But it would be worth it. Now, if you could try to they would throw in Bednar in that deal. That way you cover your bullpen and your outfield, then that'd be nice too. Now, I don't think that's going to happen though.
No, that'd be a blockbuster trade though. But yeah, I can't see it happening either. They could add Gleyber Torres to this trade too.
Yeah, you could be like, hey, we'll give you X, Y, and Z, and then we'll throw in Gleyber into that deal. Now you're getting a young infield, or you're getting a decent second baseman in Torres.
And he's major leagues, so you get major league players, a couple high end prospects.
Yeah, you can.
For Reynolds.
I mean, you could do Torres, Dominguez. You could even do Cabrera and Peraza for Reynolds, and that might get the job done. That might get it done.
You could. I'd be curious. I mean, if I'm Cashman, I've already called them.
Yeah.
So as soon as we've learned about that, guys are picking up the phone calling for Brian Reynolds.
Oh yeah, no, you can't not be one of those teams calling for Brian Reynolds, because now let's say the Yankees do go out and get Brian Reynolds. Just playing devil's advocate here, if Hal decides to do something about that. Let's say they go out and they get Brian Reynolds. Would you want Benintendi or would you want Yoshida to pair up with him?
I wouldn't have any preference for either one, to be honest with you, because Reynolds does both. He hits for power and he hits for contact, so he balanced perfectly with either one of them, or even Nimmo. He balanced with Nimmo as well for the corner spots, and he's making. They bought out 2 years of arbitration for $13.5 million, $6.75 million this year and next year. So it does not get any better than that.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And you have said this on countless occasions, and I have absolutely 100% agreed with you. Team control is what does it. Now, Aiden brought up a point earlier about the pitching. Pablo Lopez. Now, I like Pablo Lopez. I think he's an outstanding pitcher. But I would want Trevor Rogers for two reasons. One, he has 4 years of team control left, so he will be a free agent in 2027.
Yep.
Two, he's a lefty.
Yep.
And there is not a lot of good lefty starters out there, as you know.
Yep, he's got good stuff too, so Matt Blake could probably do some good things with him. Yep. And
so
I'm not going to trade Gleyber Torres for a number 3 or a number 4 starter.
No. You can't do that. That's not something you can afford to do.
Nope. So, and that's where I think that Cashman's going to have to work some kind of magic this offseason. But I would choose Trevor Rogers also. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Over Pablo Lopez.
I think that would be the wise decision. Now, whether or not they decide to go out and make a deal is a whole nother story.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is where I think Cashman will probably make some kind of trade at the winter meetings, and he'll probably make a signing. I just, and I've said this before, like, please stop waiting for Aaron Judge to decide and ignoring everybody else. You have so many holes to fill regardless. And if you fill these holes and Judge walks, well, hey, what? You got better in a couple other positions, okay?
Guess what? Now, as much of people are going to probably knock me on this, but yeah, you lost Judge, but now you've upgraded from that because you're not paying a 31-year-old who's going to be on the wrong side of 30, getting $40 million a year, whatever it's going to be. You're paying maybe league minimum to $2.5, $3 million for a guy like Reynolds, who's got 3 years of team control left.
Mm-hmm.
3 years of team control left. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I would trade for him, give him an extra 3 or 4 years, right? Make it turn it into a 6-year deal. Even if you gave him $30 million a year for those 3 years, right? That's $90 million plus this. You're looking at a 6-year deal for like $110 million.
You can get Brian Reynolds, Yoshida, and Benintendi all cheaper than you could Aaron Judge.
Yeah, you can get Rodon, Benintendi, and Yoshida.
Yeah,
combine them, and that's not even going to cost what Judge is going to cost by himself.
No, it's not even going to come close to it.
And that's the perspective I like to use. I understand people want Judge back, but again, Judge is not 27. He's going to be 31. The value's going to drop quicker than people think at some point. Okay, and I don't like the fact that they're ignoring everybody else and just focusing on Judge. It's
And
not.
it's,
I don't
yeah,
think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a wise move.
it's not a smart move. It's not a wise idea. And Jonathan and Aiden have both said that they would get Rodon, and I would too.
Well, and
I
look at
would
this.
not put.
Think about it this way too. There's only a handful of teams that are like going to be able to afford Judge, right?
Yep.
And the majority of them are on the highest penalty in terms of where the Yankees are in terms of paying out prospects and international spending money for a qualifying offer player. So what the Yankees would lose by signing Rodon, they would get right back by someone else signing Judge.
Yep.
So it would be pretty much an even swap. Plus,
You would just cancel it out.
yeah, in all likeliness, if it's the Giants to say they pick higher in the draft than the Yankees do.
Yes,
The
they do.
Yankees would get a better pick next year in the second and the fifth round.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of different pluses. Yes, it's hard to replace Judge with one player. We get it, which is why you got to go for multiple guys. But again, there's multiple holes to fill.
Yes, but is he really going to put up the numbers he put up last year?
Exactly. I don't see him getting another 62 home run season.
Nope.
Now, he could probably hit 40, 35 in his sleep, 30 by accident. And that's
Okay.
totally fine. But is it worth $40 million a year?
No.
At 31? I don't know, man.
Especially with the first 4 years where he is going to produce more than likely. And then the last back end of that contract, it's just going to go downhill. And now you've got yourself a DH who's not even cracking, 25 bombs.
Who's also blocked by another DH. So he can't even touch the DH spot until in like 5 years from now, at least. And, I know people have been already saying that, well, what if they trade Stanton or they're going to release him a couple years before? Keep in mind, this guy is on track for 500 home runs.
Yeah.
The Yankees are not going to release him when he's at like 475.
Nope.
It's not going to happen. So, there's not many players have hit their 500 with the Yankee, but Stanton has a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, exactly. The second A-Roy contract, the Pujols contract, the last 5 years were ugly.
Oh,
He got
those are brutal.
Magic this year, got 700. I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, Pujols was way better than Judge's at 31. Look
Yes.
fast and not even close. A-Rod, way better than Judge.
Not even close.
31. Pujols had like 400 and something home runs at the age of 31 when he signed with the Angels already.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different things.
Miguel Cabrera, way better at 31.
Yeah.
It's another one.
Miguel Cabrera, man. 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. There's only like 2 or 3 players in all of baseball history that have done that.
Yeah.
So
he's a surefire first round or first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A whole bunch of guys right now. Verlander first ballot, Scherzer first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Yachty first ballot.
Yep.
And there's some other guys are going to be first ballot too.
But I think you can also make the point or make the case for why you bring Judge back. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there are positives to bringing him back. But then there's also the negative side of it, like you mentioned, the age, the declining years, that second half of that contract. Yep. Now, let's say the Giants want to go out and give him that 10 years, $400 million. Let them, because they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I try to emphasize this too. In order to get Judge to move, they're going to have to pay probably $30 to $40 million more. They're probably going to have to start with $340. Yeah. Right, to get him to consider moving. Now, the Yankees, if they match that, that's not enough to keep him here. They're going to have to beat that by probably a similar amount. So they're going to have to go from 300, 360, 370, 380 to keep the guy. And I don't think people are considering that either. And they're going to have to do that. It's just like a salary at a job, right? If a company offers you 40% more and then your current company is like, well, I'll match you. You could have matched me all along, dude, but you decided not to, right? So they don't realize the Yankees are going to have to outbid these guys or whoever else by probably the same amount that they're outbidding the Yankees. So this 300, they're not going to pay anywhere near this 300 million.
Nowhere near. And you don't want to outbid yourself.
Nope.
Because now you're making yourself look bad.
That's why I don't budge. I don't budge from 300.
So here's the thing. The latest offer was what? 8 for 300, you said?
8 for 300, which is 37.5.
Okay.
It's the highest paid position player ever.
$37.5 million. That's more than what Trout's getting already.
Yep.
That's it. That's my best and final. If you're not going to take that,
have
fun somewhere else.
Trout was 26 when he got that contract.
Judge is going to be 31.
Huge difference. Huge difference, man. And I know the market and blah, blah, blah. and all this inflationary salaries. I get all that stuff, but that's a big difference in salary. Whoever gets them, and especially if it's a 10-year deal, you're going to get more decline years than you're going to get production years.
But Judge is asking for Juan Soto money, and I hate to put it like that, but that's what he's asking for.
Yeah, it's his right to ask for it. I get it, but it doesn't mean the Yankees have to give it to him.
No, the Yankees could say, "Look, we enjoyed having you. We wanted you back. We offered you 2 more than fair offers. You turned them down. See you later."
Yeah, and it doesn't make us Judge haters. Okay.
No.
I love the Yankees. Okay, and again, giving Judge $400 million will prevent them from signing other players.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
go ahead.
Let's have a flashback here for a second. Remember when Robinson Cano decided to leave for Seattle?
Yep.
We offered him what, 8 for 181 or something like that?
7 for 175.
Okay, 7 for 175, which is
25 per year.
How much a year?
$25 million per year.
Okay, so that's $25 million per year.
Yeah, and Seattle gave him 10 years, $24 million per year, but it was $65 million more. Yeah, he wasn't going to leave that $65 million on the table to come back.
But look at the back end of that contract on how he played, how his production went, his health went. Busted twice for steroids.
And the Mets are eating like $50 million of his contract, and he's not playing for them.
Yep.
So it's an albatross. So again, I'm not saying Judge is going to cheat and blah, 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 but he's going to deteriorate. Okay.
His body's going to break down.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. I mean, even Trout this year, he missed 40. He played 112 games and he still got 40 home runs.
Yeah.
He missed 50 freaking games. He was on pace for 60.
50 games and he hit 40 home runs. That's insane. I mean, Trout's on his own, level and his own planet. He's not.
Yeah,
I mean, when he first came up, they were comparing him to, Mickey Mantle with his bat and his glove and, Griffey with the arm. And I mean, he's on his own planet. So,
yeah. And it's and it's like Judge had a historic year. There's no doubt about it. But I still think Trout's the best player in baseball. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, and again, it doesn't make me a Judge hater. Okay. No. This is why, I don't understand why so many people are afraid to even acknowledge that he might leave or may say that it's okay that he leave. It's like they're afraid to offend the guy. And this is a business. It's baseball, right? It's his right. If he wants to go where the money is, go where the money is. And we wish you well.
Yeah. Good luck, man. Have fun.
Yeah. He's earned the right to cash in if he wants to.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
And he was betting on himself when he turned that offer down. Yep. And you know what? It paid off. He had 62 homers, 131 ribbies, a 311 batting average.
And
you couldn't ask for a better season. You couldn't ask for a better season from one guy.
No, and the other thing is too, he only gets at bat once every 9 players. So he's only up there once. They replace him with 2 or 3 offensive players. You just got 25% or a third of the lineup.
Yeah.
Judge is only one player.
That's why if I'm Cashman and Hal, I'm on the phone with Pittsburgh. Yeah. Because Pittsburgh is making Reynolds available. You have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and they're going to make it hard to trade for the guy. And I get it. You got a stud player there with 3 years of control. That's gold, right? Productive players.
Switch hitter.
But I think they would rather move him to the American League than keep him in the National League so that we don't
absolutely.
Have to face him. So which gives the Yankees potentially a fighter's chance here.
Mm-hmm.
And give them an offer they can't refuse. Maybe you'll be the first and only offer they look at. You don't know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be sitting around waiting.
No, you can't do that because then Rodon's off the board, Verlander's off the board, Reynolds is off the board.
Yeah, and then you have teams like Toronto could just come in and say, "We'll give you whatever."
You know what? If Toronto's willing to do that to make themselves better, you know what? Good on them. Yeah. And I hate to say that because I love the Yankees, but good on them because they're trying to make their team a winner.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple other teams that frighten me too. Houston can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. They would take Brian Reynolds over Michael Brantley.
Who would take him? Who I think I could see making a deal for Brian Reynolds? The Rangers.
Rangers too.
Look at the Rangers. They just got Jacob deGrom. If they want to compete with the Astros, they're like, hey, we're this close to breaking it open with the Astros.
Yeah.
We're going to go out and get ourselves Brian Reynolds.
Crazy.
Now we have our center fielder.
Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Think about that for a second. Brian Reynolds on the Texas Rangers, and now you've got a dogfight between Texas and Houston.
Yep. It's a whole different ballgame.
Now you're looking at the West, and it's like, what? This is not the West from last year.
Yeah, and Texas isn't done.
No.
Don't be surprised if Judge gets an offer from Texas this week too. $360 million. And $360 in Texas goes a lot further than $360 in New York.
Yes.
You pay taxes there. So $360 in Texas, the Yankees are going to have to surpass $400 just for him to pocket the same amount of money.
Here's what I can see happening. This is going to sound completely off the wall, but I can see this happening. I see the Rangers and the Giants and the Yankees being in competition for Judge. Texas as the sleeper team or as the mystery team. Texas signs Judge and then goes out and gets either a Bogarts, a Turner, or a Correa, and now look at them. Now they've just overtaken Houston.
Yeah, that much, yeah. Yeah, and I could see Judge and somebody for third base. And then they would have Seager, Simeon, and whoever else is there like that. Jeez, and Judge. I mean, and they just added deGrom. Like, oh my God, they traded for Jake Odorizzi earlier.
Yep.
This team is Seattle's my sleeper team too.
No,
I would watch out.
I could see Seattle getting him too to go along with J-Rod. Yeah, absolutely.
Need a partner in crime for J-Rod with the bat. So
I could even see Seattle going out and making a play for Brian Reynolds. And I hate to say that, but I could see it.
I could see it too. They got the players to get him.
Yeah, they got the players. They got the capital. They've got the hunger. They've got the drive. They want to compete with Houston. Look what they did in Game 1 against them, even though they lost and they got swept. They pushed Justin Verlander and Houston to the limit.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
It's not a team to sleep on.
It's going to be fascinating, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating. I mean, it starts tomorrow night officially.
Yeah.
The winter meetings. And I'm checking. Let me check now if there's anything that's happening right now. And we'll see. Brian Reynolds. No. Right.
I think Reynolds gets moved during the winter meetings.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
I think the two toughest divisions next year are going to be the East and the West in the American League. I think those are going to be the two divisions that are going to be absolute bloodbath wars between. Just because you got Houston, you got Texas, now you got Seattle. And in the AL East, you've got the Yankees, Red Sox, or the Yankees, Toronto, Baltimore, who just surprised everyone. Yeah. Missed the playoff by one game.
One game.
Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Those two divisions are going to be the divisions that everyone looks at.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee that the Mets are going to replace deGrom with Verlander or Rodon. Yep. Billy Epler, the GM, has had a hard time putting together big rotations. Every team he's been with, when he was assistant with the Yankees, when he was over the GM with the Angels, he's never been able to put together super rotation.
Yep.
So it's not going to be easy for him. He didn't have Steve Cohen with him. You got Uncle Steve there who can just pay anybody he wants. But there's no guarantee he's going to replace it.
Now
deGrom with Verlander or Rodon. Would I be surprised if he didn't? Yeah, but there's no guarantee that he will.
Oh, of course not. But I mentioned to you a couple of days ago about if you look at the Yankees rotation now, and let's say they get a guy like Rodon and then Segunda from Japan, you bring him over, or you get Verlander and Rodon. Now you're talking the Yankees rotation is going to be Cole, Verlander, and one of the other guys, Rodon. You got Montas and Severino. Or Schmidt or whoever you want to plug in. Now you're talking a much better rotation, a much stronger rotation. And the other good thing is you give Cole that safety net.
Yeah, I think having somebody to push Cole would be a good idea.
Yeah. And I don't think the friendship with Cole and Verlander exactly hurts the Yankees' case.
They're close. Yeah, they're close. And Cole was better when he was pitching with Verlander.
Yeah.
So,
it's because Verlander pushed him.
Yeah. I think he needs somebody to push him because it's pretty much him, and then there's a mile between him and everybody else. So, and as much as I like Nestor Cortez, he's not a number one right now.
No.
So he's still building his innings up, and but he's.
I mean, he was great for us last season. I'm not going to take that away from him. He was an all-star.
Yep.
But do I really see him as the guy to push Garrett Cole? Mm-hmm. No. I think you need another guy who's got that bulldog mentality like a Scherzer or a Verlander, because those are the guys that have been around for a while and are big names.
We just got a question from Arizona Alley. So other than the money, what's the incentive for Judge to the Rangers? What's that ballpark like? Well, it's a brand new ballpark, Arizona.
Yep.
And it's a hitters-friendly ballpark. But money's going to be probably the big draw. I mean, I think the money's going to be the big draw for Judge no matter where he goes. Otherwise, he would have already taken the $300 million from the Yankees. So I think he's going to go to the highest bidder. And Texas they mean business. It's clear. So they wouldn't be afraid to offer the guy 360, 380, or whatever it might be. I don't see them being afraid to do that. And honestly, if you
they just gave DeGrom a 5-year deal with. Now that option that he got, I just want to point that out.
It's a mutual option.
No, it wasn't a mutual option. I don't think it was.
It was conditional option.
Yes, it was a conditional option for 2022. Yep. And I'm guessing that conditional option is if he stays healthy.
Yeah, innings pitched, games played. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's got to be tied in there, no doubt. But like
it has to be. There's got to be some kind of clause there that he's got to pitch X amount of innings every year. He has to be healthy for X amount of time during the season in order for him to get that option picked up.
Yep. We got another one here from Jonathan. If the Yankees lose Judge, what the first thing they would do? I don't know. It could be trade for Reynolds. It could be re-sign Benintendi. It could be sign Conforto, sign Nimmo. I don't know. But what they should do, I think, is fill up the ninth and the left field and right field spots pretty quickly. And I would not give him the ninth year personally. So, me personally would not. Chris,
I would not.
Let's let another team desperately overpay and fill up the spots. Spread that money else.
Like I said, that 8 for 300 it was. You said, 8 for 300 is the best and final I got for him.
Yeah, same here. I don't see the need to bid against ourselves. There's no other offer out there right now. And the longer the Yankees offer just sits out there, it just shows that he's waiting for the bigger offer and not necessarily loyalty to the Yankees. So
it's not about loyalty, it's about this.
About money, loyalty to the Greenbacks, to the Bucks.
Yep. And I mean, the Dodgers had an offer out there. I think it was for like 5 for 214 or something. It was
like
higher AAV for less years.
Yeah, I think they're going
to get it done.
I think they're going to come back with another offer during winter meetings. I think.
I agree with that 100%.
I could see, like I said, the Rangers and the Mariners also coming with an offer too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I see him getting 4 or 5 offers. I think.
I don't think you can shy away from that. And I think that's something that they need to look at. That if the Mariners, the Rangers, the Giants, the Dodgers all want to offer him something, let them. And if they're going to massively overpay for him for 4 years of production and 6 years of decline years, let him.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Knock yourselves out. I mean, it is what it is. Like, at this point, I mean, we had other chances. They had a chance to move him. They didn't. Right? They offered him one thing, and at the time, it was a fair offer, but he had a historic year, so I get that it was going to go up. I mean,
Jigga Man, what's up, bud?
But Jigga Man's in the house. Jigga Man, Jigga. I mean, this one's going to be a fascinating one. I mean, it really is. But again, I can't stress enough. Please don't wait for his decision before you make any moves. Make moves now. And again, the better moves you make, the harder it will be for Judge to probably leave. So, and at the worst case scenario, you got better in a bunch of different positions if he leaves. Okay. Yes. It makes you less work to do. either way, you're working to improve the team. So
you've got to stop putting your eggs all in one basket. You can't do that. Look, I'll give you a prime example. Remember the year that they almost traded for Cliff Lee?
yeah,
They put all their eggs in that basket and it came back and bit them.
yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
You got to stop doing that. You got to stop playing the poverty game, and you've got to stop doing we're going to go spend, and then go spend on guys that are past their prime. That's not going to work.
And this is baseball. This isn't like basketball where you could put Michael Jordan on the floor with 4 high schoolers and he'd still take him to the NBA playoffs.
Yeah,
that's how good he is. This is completely different. So
we're talking about a guy who's going to be 31 at the beginning of the season, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and it matters. The age matters. I mean, and it's not his fault. It's just it's just a time service thing. Like he had his 6 years as a pre-arb and arb just later than other folks. Like when folks are reaching for agency at 25, he just started his arbitration as pre-arb at 25.
Yeah.
So he went to college and worked his way through the system. It is what it is. So Buckeye's in the house. What's up, Buckeye?
My other concern with him, and I know this is not going to be a popular topic, but his injury history.
Yeah.
Remember that thing I sent you a while back about the amount of times he's been on the IL for non-COVID related injuries? That's a little worrisome.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, and hit size, his age, you're going to break down quicker than most. So just something to keep an eye on. Like, we're seeing Stanton break down on a regular basis. And he's still hitting 35 home runs a year, but he's still breaking down.
And it happens.
Yeah. It just happens. And we can't have multiple guys that are amongst the highest paid players in baseball at the same time doing the same thing at that age. You just can't do it.
We have too many dead spots.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that they're trying to actively move Hicks and Donaldson, so that's a nice sign to hear.
Yep. And I heard he was hesitant to make any other moves until he got some buyers for these guys. So we'll see what happens there. Mm-hmm. I also heard that Hal is willing to chase Judge and Cashman's not.
Yep. Cashman might be onto something.
This is where I'm on Team Cashman. And Hal are not on the same page when it comes to Judge. And again, if Judge is 27, no brainer. But he's not.
No brainer. He's 31.
Oh, yeah. And that matters. That matters. Yeah, exactly. Buckeye. That's why I say, make some moves now. And at the worst, you got better if Judge leaves. Right? At the worst. You still have to fill up. No reason you can't do Benny now or Yoshida anymore, right? Yeah. No reason. None. His left field is still open. So
call Pittsburgh. Be like, what do I have to do to get Brian Reynolds? What is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
Do I have to give you a Gleyber Torres, a Jason Dominguez, an Oswaldo Peraza, an Oswaldo Cabrera, whatever it is? But at least if Judge walks, you can be like, you know what? I got better. I got the team better. The team now looks stronger than what it did last year. And that also brings me to this next point, which is the controllable years, which you have been saying for God knows how long. Controllable years is the most important thing to a team's success.
Yeah, and the only thing that's more important than that is controllable years with good production.
Yes.
If you have a player that's really productive, it's got controllable years, that's as good as getting a superstar.
I'd rather have a 27-year-old Brian Reynolds over a 31-year-old Judge.
All day. All day.
And I would consider moving IKF to third where he won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, I would do the same. I mean, yeah, it's just, yeah. Here's another one, too. Jonathan Cashman said the same thing after 2003. He wanted Guerrero and Steinbrenner wanted Chevy. Yeah, he got overruled by Guerrero. Cashman also had a trade for A-Rod. He had a trade set up where he was going to send A-Rod to the Angels for Jared Weaver, Sean Figgins, and a whole bunch of other guys. And he was overruled by Hank Steinbrenner, who overruled him and then gave A-Rod that 10-year extension. That all happened in the same year as well. I think it was 2006 or 2007.
I think it was 7.
He had a blockbuster trade set up, and he got overruled by Hank Steinbrenner. So, I mean, yeah. It's not always Cashman's fault. It's not always Cashman's fault. You get
No.
overruled by the powers that be. You get overruled by the powers that be.
There's nothing you can do about that.
He's owner of the team. I would have loved Guerrero too. I mean, Guerrero was one of my favorite players. That guy was so good. He would have been so good here.
I remember going to a Yankee game and watch at Yankee Stadium when he was in town with the Angels or the Expos. It was one of them, something like that. But I remember watching him, when they always throw to warm up in the outfield, he would throw it from the third base line into the stands on the first base line from the third base line. It's just like, how does this guy not have,
He had the best arm
how
I've
is
ever
he
seen.
not? Yeah.
He had the best arm I've ever seen. It was just,
Oh, yeah.
it was not even close. Guy's amazing.
And his swing was about as violent as you could have gotten.
Yep. And the guy would hit home runs. It would be face level home run on the floor, home run. Like he was just that good. And he, just like his son, they don't wear batting gloves. Just like Prasad, they don't wear batting gloves. They're like old school gangster baseball players, man. See, when GM and the owner butt heads, yikes, yes, it's 100% true. The heck is hell no, let cash roll. Yeah. Make sound business decisions that make us better. Exactly, Texas Buckeye. Exactly.
That's right. I forgot Sheffield swing. I forgot about
one of the swings I've ever seen was the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like him and Stanton. Like the baseballs were afraid to get hit by Sheffield. The baseballs were afraid to get hit by Stanton. It reminds me of the Little League, like when you first start baseball and you're afraid of fielding the ground balls. Yeah. Like when those guys hit ground balls, you have major leagues that are like, oh crap, I don't want to field this. It's coming at me 185 miles an hour. I'm not fielding it. No. Someone like that. Those guys hit the ball so hard. It's ridiculous.
Now, the kid that we got from Pittsburgh, the reliever,
Victor Fernandez, I think it was, or Rodriguez,
or Jonathan Fernandez, or something like that. It was one of them. I think that's going to be a nice little project for Matt Blake.
Yeah, he's got good stuff. Victor Fernandez, I think it is.
Victor Fernandez. Okay, there you go. Victor Fernandez.
I think that's his name.
No, Junior Fernandez. That's what it was. Junior Fernandez.
Yeah. He's got a 98 to 100 mile an hour fastball. He's got good movement on his pitches, good off speed stuff. So they might have gotten on, and they got him on the cheap off waivers, several controllable years. So it was this is a typical Cashman move where he can get. This is his wheelhouse, getting relievers, man, and getting controllable relievers. It's his wheelhouse. It's his one. I think is probably his strongest suit as a GM.
Yeah. Chris brought up a good point that if we let Judge go, then get Reynolds. So when that happens, Peraza will get traded. So that means we can get one of the good shortstops. As much as I don't want to get rid of Peraza, getting one of the top shortstops may not be such a bad idea because then you can move IKF to third where he won that Gold Glove.
And after this year, IKF is likely gone in free agency. You can move that shortstop to third.
Yep.
And we'll give Volpe.
Bring up Volpe.
With the shortstops or Trey Sweeney or whoever they have who's ready to go. So it gives them the flexibility. It gives them a cheap, young, controllable player. So there's a lot of things they could do. It really is.
They've got a lot of – they have a better hand than most people think they do. They just don't want to play it.
Yeah. It's true. The Yankees could just demolish if they wanted to, but I mean –
if they wanted to, they could – this could be the offseason of the Yankees this year if they wanted to. But it's a matter of do they want to, not if they can. It's do they want to.
Yeah, and I don't believe anything Hal says until he puts his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
So put your money where your mouth is, bro. Otherwise, I don't believe you. I don't find anything you say credible. Sorry. I just don't. At least with Cashman, he'll let you know, even if it's good or bad.
Hal likes to play that poverty game, and I don't understand why. You've got the third largest payroll in the game right now behind the Mets and Dodgers, and you've got the money. We all know this, but yet you're going out to go fund a casino. Forget the casinos, man. Worry about putting the money on the field.
Yeah,
And
so we do have the prospects to get Brian Reynolds. We have more than enough to get Brian Reynolds.
we have more than enough. Absolutely.
This is the best deal in a while.
And Jonathan brought up a great point. I'll put that up on the screen, but it is if George was alive, they would, but I wouldn't doubt that they would go out, they would go against what they did last year. So I guess what he's saying is they would go out and actually spend on the team because George was that kind of owner.
He invested in his product, just like Steve Cohen's doing. It won't always work, but at least you're showing that you care and you're investing in your product.
Yep.
And can't fault the man for that. Really
and
can't.
Hank was just like his old man.
Hank was, yeah.
Yeah, Hank was. I mean, God bless Hank's soul, but my God.
Yeah, Hal runs it like a hedge fund. It's completely different, checking every dollar and blah, blah, blah. And Cashman just happens to be a really, really good at maximizing this man's money. Really good at it. So, and not getting much pushback because he's does what the dirty work for Hal.
Yeah.
And, why would they move on from that is the question. It's going to be hard to replace him in New York.
And, the Frankie Montez trade, I don't think, and I know people aren't high on Montez, but I think once he gets past the injuries and they let him rest up and he gets past this whole family thing, I think that trade's going to turn out better than what it's already turned out to be.
Yeah, I think if he's healthy in the beginning of the year, he'll be okay next year. He'll be okay.
I think
a good number 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me, a good number 5 star.
I still think we need another guy like a Rodon or
I'd rather add to the top of the rotation than the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So that's just me. We'll see. We'll see what their appetite is for whatever they're going to do. Whatever they're going to do.
How I'm not using.
Go ahead.
Yeah, how I'm not using common sense. If that's all he cares about is money, then if you invest in your team, no matter what the payroll is, if you win the World Series, you will win your investment back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not wrong. I mean, it's common sense.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's very, very true, man. I mean, so far the A's have won that trade, but there's no point in looking back now. It's done. So
it's over with.
We're looking at it. So J.P. Sears, Ken Wolochuk. I mean, they've only got a sample size of them, so there's no guarantee that either one of those guys are going to pan out. Neither one of them are first-round picks for the Yankees. So, it's 5th or 6th or 8th round picks. So, but they turned into top prospects. But we'll see. So there's no guarantee they're going to turn.
One guy though that I'm excited for is Clayton Beeter.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for him too. Number 8 prospect now.
Yeah, and we got him in that Joey Gallo trade, which was I mean, they could say that they
was good
kind
value.
of made for their return and for what they gave up for Gallo.
Yeah, I mean that was a good trade for Cashman.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he got that much value, but good.
Hey, the Dodgers were willing to give him Clayton Beeter. Let him take Clayton Beeter.
Yep, got that right.
And I would try to develop him a little bit, and I would do the same thing with Will Warren.
Yeah, Will Warren's another one. Yep. And Luis Hill's coming back, and
you got Drew Thorpe down there as well, who could be good.
Yep, there's a couple guys. I mean, they're more heavy in position players in terms of top prospects, but they're starting to get some pitching as well.
Yeah.
They're starting to get some pitching too. But
we'll see how it works out. But we're gonna wrap this up. But if you guys haven't checked out Jason on 161 River Ave, please do so. He's got outstanding content. He puts out every day. If he can, he puts out everything that goes on. You do not want to miss him on this. Jason, where can everyone find you?
161 River Ave on 161 River Ave on YouTube, Bronx Bomber 447 on Twitter, and Diehard Yankee Fan 447 on Instagram. Are the 3 places to find me, but most predominantly on Twitter or YouTube. Those are the places that to really find me. So,
all right, guys. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Jason, thank you for coming on. As always, it's an open door policy. You are always more than welcome to jump on whenever we do a live. Thank you again for coming on. This is your boy, Ford Train Express. Thank you all for coming along on the ride. Jason, I'll see you tonight on the 161 River Ave live stream.
That's right.
Until next time, guys, have an outstanding day. Much love to all of you.
Peace.
Deuces.